Good afternoon. We are live here at the Parents Estate Planning Law Firm in Acton, Massachusetts. Today is our famous Facebook Live session with our very own David Feakes of the Parents Estate Planning Law Firm. And each month we have another hot topic to cover, and this one today seems to be something that comes up when couples are making that decision over who will be the guardians for their kids should something happen to them. And so our title, as you can see, is Overcoming Those Guardian Roadblocks. And I'm going to pass it off to David, who will guide us through part of the process that he goes through with clients when they are having trouble making those decisions. So David, to you.
Thanks very much. Welcome everyone to another Facebook Live session. What I want to talk to you about today is a very common question that I get from parents, which is, how do I choose guardians if I can't choose guardians? And what we call the Guardian Roadblock. And it looks something like this. You've got young kids. You know you need to name guardians for your kids. But here's the problem. You're thinking, my parents, they're probably too old to serve as guardians for my kids. My siblings might be too young, might not be ready, might not yet be married, might not yet have kids of their own. And so that's what one scenario potentially looks like. The other scenario looks like this. My spouse and I can't agree. We're butting heads. My spouse says that he wants his sister, and I say I want my brother. And we just can't agree on that. And so either way, what results is that you don't make any decision at all, and you don't take any action at all, because you run up against this barrier, the barrier of who to name as guardians for your kids, and you don't see any way over it, and you don't see any way around it, and you don't see any way through it. So what I do with clients who have this problem is we take them through what I call our three-step process. We'll just give you a kind of the framework for it so that you can get a sense of it. The first thing you want to do is very simply is to think of all of the people that could possibly be guardians for your kids, whoever that is, family members, friends, whoever it is. You make a list of all of those people. You put that list away. At least 24 hours later, you come back, and now you make a list of all of the attributes that you would want your ideal guardian to have. Where do they live? Are they married? Do they have kids of their own? Are they a specific religion? Do they have a certain parenting style? Whatever it is that's most important to you, you list all of those attributes, probably ranked in order of importance. And then you put that list away. And then you come back 24 hours later and you bring your two lists with you. Now you're looking at a list of people who could possibly be the guardians for your kids, and you're looking at a list of all the attributes you would want your ideal guardian to have. Now you can start to match up who on your list of people has most of the attributes that you've listed. And at that point, it probably becomes relatively clear to you who a good candidate for guardian would be. It may not be the perfect candidate, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be the perfect candidate. What I say to clients is, some decision is better than no decision at all. Some plan is better than no plan at all. What you're trying to accomplish is finding one person or one couple who could and would be willing to serve as guardian for you, and then to formally name those people as guardians. If you can come up with backups, terrific. That's even better. But the goal is not to create a perfect plan. It's just to create a plan that's better than the plan you currently have. And for most parents of young kids, that current plan is no plan at all. So that's the process that we take our clients through. If you're having that problem, thinking of who you would name as guardians, or you're running into that barrier, think of this process, work through this process. If you have any questions at all about how to do this, certainly you can post questions in the comments below. We'll come back and answer those questions. If you don't want your questions to be public, you can give us a call at the office, and we can set up a time to kind of walk you through some of these issues and see if we can't get some decisions made for you. Our office, you can reach us at 263-6900, 978-263-6900. But again, if you want to post a question in the comment below, happy to take a look at that and answer those comments as we go along.
Yeah, so David, we do have a couple questions that have come in. First is, David, do we need to come to our first appointment and have this question answered? Do we have to arrive to your office with knowing who our guardians will be for our children?
Yeah, the answer is no. A lot of people show up and they don't really have this worked out, and it's one of the reasons they're coming to see me is because they need help working this out. A lot of clients have some ideas about who is in this kind of universe of candidates, but it often takes a process of walking through it with somebody who's not emotionally invested in it. Somebody like me who is neutral to who you're choosing, to kind of help you and ask some deeper questions and get you to focus on maybe some things you hadn't thought of before. So the answer is nope, don't have to have that decided before, and most people don't.
Okay, great. And another question we received, David, is what if we have named guardians and the guardians we've chosen for our children have been divorced since we planned? How do we go through the process of renaming new guardians, or do we come in and work with you to figure out what happens with the divorced couple now that we have to kind of make a change?
Yeah, so the one thing I know from working with parents with young kids, that guardians are the thing that is most likely to change in your plan over time. Maybe it's because the couple that you've named is getting a divorce. Maybe it's because you've named a parent and the parent is aging out of that role. But in either way, that's the idea of getting back together on a regular basis and reviewing your plan on a regular rolling basis, so that you're often looking at that and making new decisions. Sometimes the decision you made isn't going to stay together for the long term, and it just means it's time to come back and make a new decision. In terms of a divorced couple, you'd want to think about, okay, what's going to happen now that they're getting a divorce? As important as that is, when you're naming guardians on the front end for the first time and you're naming a couple, that's one of the things I'm going to help you to think through even before they become divorced. And they may never become divorced, but I always want to find out what's going to happen if something happens to one of the couple you named. What if they die? What if they get divorced? What should happen in that scenario? And we want to build that in to the guardianship nomination process. But yeah, if they're getting divorced, we just want to get back together and decide what should happen next based upon that new set of circumstances.
And how frequent, David, should parents review their plan? How frequently, from time that they finish and do their final signing with you, how frequently should they review their plan?
My philosophy is at least every 3 years. I think you shouldn't go more than 3 years without reviewing a plan, especially when you have younger kids, because that's when the plan is really likely to change more frequently over time. What I offer to all of our clients is the opportunity to come in and sit with us on at least a 3-year basis for ongoing plan reviews. It gives us a chance to check in, see what's happening, see if changes need to be made, if they do need to be made, to make those changes so that the plan is accurately reflecting what you want currently. And if we get together in 3 years and we find there's nothing